If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Literally, you guys. So let me explain. First, it's free. I am not joking, you guys. It is totally free. 2, there's creation tools that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or even your computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more platforms. 4, you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Now, is that cool or what? And finally, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, you guys. So, I have 2 other podcasts with Anchor, and I absolutely love working with them so much. So, why don't you download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, you guys, and welcome to the official podcast of Education Thoughts with Damian Anderson. So listen up. This is an education podcast where I will give you 100% real, honest, and authentic truth in every single episode. From what's happening in the educational world to interviewing guests and sharing life stories relating to education. I got you covered. So join me on this journey of exploring the education life together with me. Welcome everyone to another episode of Education Thoughts with Damian Anderson. I am Damian Anderson, and I have another great guest with me for this week's episode. Some of y'all may know him from my first podcast, Future Educators Talk, where we had him on. He is a graduate of North Carolina A&T, and he plays basketball overseas and is a first-year history teacher in Jacksonville, Florida. So let me introduce y'all to Mr. Luther Funches. Welcome.
How you doing?
Doing great. So I want to ask you this before we get started. Can you tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you know, my name is Mr. Luther. I'm a first-year history teacher. I will actually be teaching PE this upcoming school year too. So I've been able to get certified in both history and PE. And I'm also getting my master's in coaching so that I could hopefully one day become an athletic director, still do coach basketball, and just being able to, be positive during this time of this epidemic, man. It's just been a lot going on, but I'm still the same person, still high energy and, making sure everything and my children excel while we're doing this distant learning thing as well.
Yes, because during this, I know it could be just stressful for all of us during this time, but we gotta stay positive throughout this because we will get through this together because we're all in this together. So I want to ask you this here. What kind of inspired you to teach? What inspired you to become a teacher in the first place?
Well, I had some good educators growing up. Just being able to see just the demographics of teaching has been very different. You have a lot of people who say they care, but their actions show that they don't. You have a lot of people who say they're great teachers, and once again, their actions show that, yeah, they might be great teachers, but they're not great teachers to making sure their students advance in a level of learning how to be better people, be better students, advance themselves to the next level as they prepare to go to the next grade. Anybody can be a great teacher on paper, but when you're able to show those talents and gifts in your classroom, it shows a lot of wonders. And that's what inspired me, because I see a lot of people who fake the funk. And I don't like when people fake the funk. I don't care what job it is, just have to be education. But I wanted to be able to use that drive and that positivity to enhance my learning ability as a teacher.
Yeah. Um, so what has been like the most important thing that you have learned about yourself since either becoming a teacher, or since this pandemic? What's the most important thing that you have literally learned about yourself?
Well, the best thing and important thing, I wrote my answers down too, because I had to really think about the questions. So I mean, I basically said that the best thing that I've learned and has made me a better teacher is patience, persistence, and management of handling my students, especially doing this online process. But with what we have at my school, we were already on this before Corona had even hit, because the curriculum that we use is pretty much self-explanatory, but then the kids log in on the computer and do their units. And so they have but so many days to finish their units. So we were already, doing this, whole virtual and learning thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's pretty, teaching is a passion to me. And so it gives me enjoyment. It gives me knowledge of learning new methods of teaching every day. You know what I mean? So I'm just, it's so much, and it helps you mature, especially being a first year teacher. I wasn't in shock, like, I don't know what to do. No, this really was able to help me to mature myself to say, okay, let's relax, let's calm down. Let's go to the next episode and see, okay, we didn't do good on this one. So we're going to flip the script right here. We're going to do something different to make it more engaging or to make it more enjoyable. Because I just don't want you bored. And with my personality, I ain't trying to make nothing boring, because education shouldn't be, if it's science, we talked about the science, math, English, it doesn't matter. Make learning fun. And now with this Corona, with Google Classroom and Apple Teach and all that good stuff, you can make learning fun. It don't have to be so dreadful. So that's what I learned.
Yes. I love that answer that you just gave there. So what is your best tip that you want to share of how we can make this world a better place for our students to live in?
Oh, I just say this, whether you have a school-age child or not, children are the future of this world regardless.
Yes.
You got to spend time helping them reach their potential by tutoring, mentoring, and taking part in after-school program. And even though we don't have after-school programs right now, you can still put something together where we can have Zoom calls and do peer mentoring, or have Zoom calls and we can play a little, Fortnite here or there, or play some Uno. Your kids can get an Uno card, I get my Uno cards, we'll do the next thing. Just that engagement and having fun. That's the tips. That have fun with this. Don't. Now is the time to just say, you know what, if I'm gonna go into teaching, now is the time I can show my creativity. Just have fun. I'll do what I need to do, but at the end of the day, principals now are really seeing where your mind is. How are you, what are you doing? Or are you still being that butthole? No, you don't have to, because the reason it makes this difficult, and this is just me being honest, and I know you heard the same thing I heard what I'm about to say. Most children don't care now because it's already been said, you got to pass them anyway. So the ones who really don't care for school, knowing they don't have to do the work, they really got their wish, because I don't have to do anything now. So now they say, you got to pass me. I'm good. So I ain't got to go on the computer. I ain't got to do anything. But as that teacher, instead of blasting them out, you need to say, hey, I get that, I have to automatically pass you, but at the end of the day, this is not going to benefit you when you go to the next grade. So you're cheating yourself.
Yep.
I can easily, go to my principal and say, hey, he not doing this and she not doing that. But what is that going to solve? Exactly. And so now the principal is like, well, you're the teacher. So that shows you can't even push for a child to at least attempt to do a lesson. Then something's wrong with that. So I feel like now you have to put that weight on your shoulders. You be the principal of your classroom now. Show your principal the leadership skills that you have. And even if they don't complete all the lessons, completing one lesson shows a lot of growth. Just one lesson. So that's the tip I give. Be your own boss. Let your principal see what you've learned, and allow that growth that they've taught you to help you maneuver through this situation.
Yes, I love that right there. So I want to ask you this here. And I believe me and my co-host, we talk about this on Future Educators Talk. If you could, and we had this discussion last week, if you could do anything to change our education system, would you possibly do? Because we talked about last week, we had a discussion of that 2% of the Black male educators. I mean, that is, to us and to a lot of others, that is just ridiculous of that 2%. We need to raise that up. So we had a discussion about that last week. So what would you do if you could do anything?
Okay, see, that's I'm glad you asked that, because that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, through all those questions, this is the one I wanted you to ask, because I got so much for this. And we gonna go, how long we got on this podcast? I don't want to take up all the time, but
we got plenty of time. Time.
So the first thing I change, the way we legislate educational change. If these decisions were made by a panel representative of all ed stakeholders, the children of America would stop being tossed around as a political football. We could set clear goals and move toward them over decades instead of moving targets and resources every 8 years. That's first thing.
Okay.
You want me to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Or you want to emphasize on that? Because Okay. The second thing, because they call stress, anxiety, and put tremendous pressure on everyone, not just the teachers, but the students as well. If students aren't getting the grades that they need, anxiety can just be like, oh my goodness, I'm not used to getting a B. I've had all A's in my life. And we cannot embrace failure in a system that punishes it. Everybody wants to see them fail, and they punish that. You're going to fail, and I'm not going to help you get to where you got to get to. You're failing, that's it. In the discussion, we're going to move on. No, that's not. And then risk taking won't happen. There's too much risk in not getting the grade, if that makes sense. You take a lot of risk in wanting to get what you want, because now you're stepping over the edge, and it's like, I got to get this.
Yeah. Think
about it. If you're 5 points away from an A, and the final grades have already went in, and I'm coming to you saying, Mr. Damian, please, man, it's only 1 week left in school. Can you just give me a project just worth 5 points? And you're like, I've already turned my grades in. But no, you don't understand. Like, I was at a 5.0 all 4 of my years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so you're going to drop down to a 4.9. What's 4.8? What's the problem?
Yeah.
And you're still going to be valedictorian. What's your deal here? No, because you don't understand, because such and such down the way has all perfect A's, and now they're going to be valedictorian and be saluted, but you're still accomplishing the goals. And then what happens after that? Now we got to take risks. Mom, Mr. David don't want to change my grade, and he won't give me the 5 points that.
Yeah.
So you mean you just called your mother because I want to give you 5 points, and you have a B in my class, which is really not going to hurt you. High B on top of that, it is not going to hurt you, and you still can get into Harvard, wherever you want to go. If your mind was out, you're still going to get in. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But because they have raised the standards on these, so you don't have 5.0, and then next week you find out that now the grades are 5.7. It doesn't matter. You all are gonna get to where you gotta get to. Grades don't matter. What you do matters. A grade of 5.8 is not going to get you the job in corporate America. It's not. What you know about that company, what can you bring? What makes you different from all the other candidates is what's going to get you that job. Not because you had a 5.8, you were part of this, you were part of that. No. Me and you, what makes you different from all the other candidates? That's what's going to get you that job. Then I would empower teachers. If we can build teachers' capacities to construct and adapt curricula to the identified needs and interests of students, then we can also grant them great anatomy for making sort of differential decisions that can individualize and personalize learning. We need to give teachers the opportunity to make decisions that improve and strengthen their relationships with students.
Yes. I love that right there. That's building that relationship with your students. I talk about this on my podcast. I believe that all teachers should build relationships with their students. I mean that is the key right there. It's just, for me, a teacher needs to start building that relationship with their students at the beginning of the school year, that first month of trying to build that relationship with their students. Because here's what, and I talk about this on Future Educators Talk, if you just wait until quite toward the end of the school year to start having that relationship with your students, during that year, is you and that student, it is going to be very bumpy with that particular student, because you do not have a good foundation of a relationship with that student, and it's just not going to be right. That's what I feel right there. So having that relationship with students and teachers, I believe that is the key right there. That is just the ultimate key right there.
And you're right. And be yourself. That's another thing too. Stop trying to be something that you're not. Like, my kids know, when Mr. L come in the classroom, we know how he dressed. But then if I wear some Nike joggers or something, they already know I coach. So they see the swag different. But they always say, but even through the swag different, he still stays professional.
Yes.
And they build relationship with me, not because I have tattoos or nothing like that, because they see how genuine I am. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am the cool teacher, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm still firm, fair, and consistent. And if I need to get on you how I need to get on you, we've already built a relationship to where I know my love. And not a lot of teachers understand that you got to have a love language for your kids. You can't just always sit here and be trying to have a love language. If I know I can talk to you in a stern way and you get it, we're good. But if I know I got to ease up and say, all right, look now, and I have to talk to you more than once. Now, come on, let's get back on the page. We good. But if I'm always putting my finger in your face and look, man, that ain't gonna get nowhere. Because now kids feel like, well, God, dog, man, one little thing is gonna trigger. You get what I'm saying? We don't need that. That's just, you have to be yourself. And it's funny because I had an interview with another principal in another state, and we were talking about the same thing. And everything that I'm telling you, she stopped me in mid-sentence and said, I'm offering you the position. I was like, whoa, just off of what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. She offered me the teaching position. And I was like, wow, a resume is good, but when they hear you talk, when they hear that passion and when you're being professional, principal now realizing, hey, if look, the resume is good, but how you're talking, this is what I need to bring in my school. Because we can all get on the same page. We can make this work.
Yes.
And that's what people need to realize. Don't let your resume be the one that talks for you. You sell yourself. I don't care if you haven't worked. Like you said, you can be a sub, but if you sell yourself, they'll hire you. Mm-hmm. Experience nowadays don't mean nothing, because there's too many people out here who got experience and don't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
But don't nobody want to hear that. Mm-mm. Everybody's want to go, I've been in the game for 50-something years. But what have you accomplished within those 50 years? Well, I don't know. But then you ain't really done that. Which brings me to my next point. You got to stop throwing new teachers and administrators under the bus. You got to give people a break. School and district staff should support new colleagues. Risk-taking and bold outlook on educational methods. Backstabbing and rumor mill gossip has no place in our educational environments. We're talking about the break room. And if I don't like you, because I know that you're about to get that promotion to the AP, I'm going to throw you on the bus. Well, last night I seen Damian, he was at the bar drinking, when I know darn well you wasn't drinking. But because I don't want you to get that position, and I was next in line to get that position, but you just came in and took it. Oh no, I'm going to throw you under the bus. And then after you go through all this, you're still going to be hurt in the end, because not only were you lying, but you were actually bullying this person. You out. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go. Because that shows you have no team effort. You don't want to see nobody else grow. If it's not you, no.
Exactly.
We have to stop and throwing new teachers under the bus. They throw new teachers under the bus all the time. Well, their lesson plans weren't like this. You sure? You sure their lesson plan wasn't like that? I'm going to ask you this more than once, because if I catch that you're lying and then I go evaluate the lesson plan and it is what it needs to be, you're out of gas. And because you feel like you're the lead teacher, everybody else doing what they need to do, but now all of a sudden the new teacher just ain't done nothing that you asked. So you're literally telling me this. They always give me back talk. You sure? We have to stop this. But guess what? It's not going to happen. Why? Because we still have these people with these naive minds. If they don't get what they need to get, they're going to try to do something so brutal to try to get. It's just.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to get what they hopefully want to get. So so I want to ask you this here. Why do you think education is like so important to many people, and to you, of course?
Education is important, not only to get to where you got to get to, but education is important because you always learning something every day. Exactly. You're always around math. You're always around reading. You're always around history. You're always around it. You get what I'm saying? You at the store, you have to do math, right? In order to get those 2 gallons of milk that you need. But if you don't know what 2 gallons are, how you know you're getting the right milk?
Exactly.
And if I give you a list and say I need a half a gallon, but you bring me a gallon, then that shows that your comprehension is not where it needs to be, because you're reading, but you're not reading what it is that I want.
Yeah,
that's why education is important, because you're always around it. Okay. Like right now, we're educating each other because we're talking, but we're talking in a professional manner. So if a child was in here with us right now, they will be being educated because they see the properness of how we talk. Yeah, we can slang a little bit, but not in a sense like this. This is not your opportunity to slang right now. I want to see where your professional level is. How you pronounce your nouns, your verbs, things like that. You understand what I'm saying? This is totally. Educational is all technology. I'm not in front of you physically, but I'm in front of you, and we're having a genuine and we're having a great conversation talking about what education is. This is education. This is the wave. And if you think about it, a lot of teachers now are going to probably want to start doing this more because with this wave, you can get a lot done. Now, and I still don't mind the classroom setting, don't get me wrong. But this right here, this is more to me of your personal space, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because a lot of kids, they like to get in your personal space sometimes when you're teaching, and you like, come on now. Yeah. Because if I don't get in your personal space, don't get in mine. So this right here too, for those claustrophobic teachers, this is educational for them too. Because I'm in my space. I don't have to see how quiet it is. You ain't got to worry about nothing. I ain't gonna tell you 15 times to say, hey, sit down, hush up, put that phone away. No, it's just peace.
Mm-hmm.
And some older teachers, if you think about it, what education means to them, this, because these older teachers now, they got peace. They got a sense of mind. Because now if you act up, I'll leave. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave, and then I'm gonna hit you on a personal DM and say, hey, you acting out. And now is not the time to act out. So I had to leave so I can get my thoughts together. And I need you to get your thoughts together. And we're gonna get back on here and we're gonna do what we have to do. If that makes sense of what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally does. Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on this. Like, I kind of like doing this here, like virtually, instead of, because like it's, my space here, to where like what I used to be in a college classroom is just like everybody's space there. So I just feel like I'm in my own space. I can like do whatever I want to. So yeah, I want to ask you this here. Like, what has been your biggest kind of failure for you, either in the last year or possibly this year? And why do you think that had happened to you, that biggest failure?
Oh, only failure was I missed my test by like a couple of points, but that it wasn't really a failure. It was just my mind just went blank. And I couldn't concentrate like I needed to, but it wasn't a big failure because I knew at the end of the day, I always tell my kids they have to persevere through anything. And I'm going to persevere through this. Like I'm going to pass because most principals now, they get it. You can be a good test taker, but sometimes, man, it's just, you got a lot going through your head. It's 119 questions. I'm on question 105. These last 14. Look, I'm done. But I got to still push myself. But to miss it by 2 points, it's like, come on now. Y'all can't work with me. But, I'm just waiting on the details to how I can just go ahead and get that done. Because I read up that if you miss it by 10, then you can do something to get it to where you can pass. So that was it, man. Because everything else, my kids are doing good. Everything is where it needs to be. The only thing that I feel is a failure is how they continue to do us black male educators. But other than that, I mean, it ain't so much about the 2%. It's just the fact that it's a lot of good black male educators out here. Yeah. And you continue to stereotype us like we're these type of people who just bullies, thugs, rapists. It's crazy, man. Like, you just pinpoint and it's like you don't even know me. Exactly. But you're gonna sit here and you're gonna call me to be something and I ain't even me. And then 9 times out of 10, it'd be the people who you thought was so good and so mighty, they'd be the main ones who do the most dirt. And now I gotta come back to you and tell you, well, I apologize. I accept your apology, but at the end of the day, don't judge me like that. Right. Because you don't know what I've been through. And you don't know what I'm capable of doing. Because I don't have to use these anymore. You don't know who I know. And who I know could get you not having a job. But I don't believe in fighting evil for evil. You understand what I'm saying? But that's how they do us. That's the failure. That's the failure. I don't like that. I don't like being stereotyped as if I can't do what I'm supposed to do. Or if you was the teacher last year and now I'm the teacher and you see me getting these kids where they got to get to, now you hating. And now you want to go throw a bug at somebody. You're like, oh, he's been doing it. Come on, man. Like, yeah, that ain't culture. You know what I mean? And this profession, if believe it or not, like I told the principal, I'll follow a woman's lead. I don't have pride to not follow a woman's lead. As long as you lead me the right way and support me, I'm fine. Because this is a female dominated. It's just what it is. Education is female dominated. And we as brothers or men need to stop having this testosterone like we can't follow a woman's lead. It's like a woman will follow a man as long as they do what they need to do. A principal that's a woman never have once said, I won't follow my male teacher's lead. As long as you're doing what you got to do, I'm going to support that. But we as men, I don't want to work for a woman. I want to work under a man. For what? So then when the testosterone level get up, what you gonna duke it out? And what is that going to solve? You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's something that I hope we can talk about another time, about what does it mean when a woman of principal status, you get what I'm saying, has that leadership role, and what are men looking for, when they have a female principal. Because at the end of the day, they really don't want to see us fail. They want us to take ownership and leadership. They want that. Because why? Because most women know that sometimes I got to back off. I got to let my men do what my men do. You get what I'm saying? And when I told her that, if you would have seen her face, she was just like, she didn't know what to say. Because it was one of them things like, are you trying to kiss up to me? No, I'm not kissing up to you. But you asked me what I look for in my principal. And I'm telling you as a man, I don't mind you leading me. But at the end of the day, I just need to know that somehow, are you going to have my back? And when she told me yes, and then what I really liked about her, you know what she said in that interview too? She said, I have not been interviewing women. I have been interviewing males. She said, I want males in my school. That there, I was like, you got me. You get what I'm saying? You already offered me the job. I'm going to take it, because now I know what you're wanting to build. You want to have this many women, this many men, bring it together, and now we got a full house. And we're going to we're not going to divide the house no more. And so, yes, the lady that's over the social studies department, so I will be teaching 11th grade U.S. history. So, but the lady, Ms. Griffin, who I'll be talking to today, she's my teacher lead. Fine with that. The ideas that I have for history, I want to see what her ideas are for history, if that makes sense. They've never done a history contest before, so I brought that attention to the principal. I said, well, can we do a history contest where first place is 100, second place is 50, and then third place would be 25? Guess what they said? We're up for it, because that's never been done here before. We're bringing in new ideas now. And instead of sitting here looking at the book, how about reenacting history? Let's go to the football field. Let's do the Revolutionary War. All right, let's divide it up. You get the French, I get the American. We're gonna do what we gotta do. We're gonna have a big war with the little paint that you throw when people be running and they throw the paint on you and stuff like that. So we get some blue, we get some red, so we'll count the dead bodies, and then we're gonna ask, what did you learn from this? And then what? Now, I'll probably get fired if I tell you this, but I wouldn't do this per se. But if we want to do the Boston Tea Party, take me to the swimming pool. We'll just get some tea. We'll throw it in there. We'll hurry up and get it out. But we live in what? The Boston Tea Party.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And so now they're understanding, oh, this is why they do the tea into the Tea Party is what? The Boston Tea Party. Like they were just drinking tea all day. No. Them people wanted their money. They was taking them people money. But you get what you see, and you see how engaged it is.
Exactly.
That's that's what we're shooting for.
Engage with your students. That's what I am literally going to be like, engaging with my students when I'm teaching math. It's not going to be all, and I'll talk about this on the podcast too, I believe. I'm sorry, but I love all my former teachers that I had, but some of them, they was just like boring to me. It's just like there was like no fun into the lessons that we was doing, and you trying to like, can y'all figure out a way to engage with your students instead of making this lesson boring for all of us? Because if you're not passionate about the lesson that you're teaching us, how are the students going to be passionate with you of doing it? So I just, and please engage with your students because it will help out, literally. So my last two questions for you is, what has been your biggest surprise that you had this year in the last few months, and why that had happened to you?
Oh, when I got that job in that school in Louisiana. And the reason it was a surprise, I had this interview with another job, and I told the principal about that. But now, remember, I told you she really felt and liked how our interview process was going. And for you to stop in the middle of your sentence and say, you have the job, it's yours if you want it or not. That was shocking to me, because think about it. When you talk to a principal, if they like you, 9 times out of 10 you'll get the job, right? But what's the other thing that they're gonna? Well, I have other candidates that I have to interview and blah blah blah. But some say that, and then you can walk out the building. Yeah, we like to offer you. Why you ain't tell me that when I was in there? But I understand that's protocol. But for her to just say, and then she said, because if God sends me someone, I'm gonna make sure I take advantage of it. But that meant a lot to me. That was surprising, because not because I interviewed with another school, but because you really saw something in me doing that Zoom conference. And then for you to say, like, and then next year we can do this, we can do that. Because I just told you now, I'm getting my master's in coaching and athletic administration, which means I can be an athletic director. I love sports. You get what I'm saying? So these relationships that I'm building, you for somebody to say, and you know, he might be leaving next year. We can talk about that. And so that was surprising, because it's like, I want to give it to somebody that I know that's going to be good with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what's been surprising. And then had another interview yesterday, same exact thing. And I'm just like, whatever I'm doing, I know it's God-based, but at the same time, it's like, I'm selling myself, but I know I can perform. I'm gonna sell it, but I'm gonna perform. You're gonna pay me this money, I gotta perform. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna pay me what you're gonna. That's what anybody. If you're gonna pay me a 6-figure salary, I gotta perform. And if I don't perform, guess what they're gonna do to us? You got to go. I got to bring in somebody that's gonna perform. So that's what's been surprising, man. Just been doing these interviews and just having job offers off real. Like, here you go, it's yours. Take your time to think about it, but it's yours. Not a lot of people get those opportunities like that.
Yes. So right before we wrap up here, I want to ask you this. How are you doing during this quarantine here? We're all stuck at home. How have you been, your family has been doing during this?
Oh man, we good, man. We good. I play with my daughters every day. I'm expecting my 3rd child this week. So thank you. So man, listen, I've been good. I've been good, man. Oh, and just one more thing, man. I wanted to say this. And when you asked me that question about changing the education, and my last thing I wanted to say was allowing teachers to have more authority and power in the school. Allow us to help make the big decisions in our schools and empower us. That there is what you said about with your math class and how you want to do. But at the end of the day, give us that power. Let us make the decisions. You understand what I'm saying? Don't let everything be just on everybody else. But like I said, other than that though, we've been doing great. We've been doing great.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So I would like to thank you so much for coming on to my podcast today. It was great having you on. Looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you more when we bring you back onto Future Educators Talk.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So where can people follow Mr. Luther Funches at?
All right. So look, Mr. Luther, I that's my dad, and I don't go by my dad name no more, man. I go by my middle name right here is I told my kids that you call me Darnell Jerome now. But
okay.
you you can call me Darnell Jerome, but you know my Twitter is Coach Darnell at Coach Darnell J. That's my Twitter. And on my Instagram, you can find me at, let me get all my stuff right. You can find me at Coach_DJ12. And you have a person coming on your show that's my best friend. We were part of the TQRP, Teach Quantum Teacher Program, Eric Nelson. That is my guy. That is my guy. And I just had to shout him out because when I seen him on that lineup, I was like, yo, you know how often I talk to them? I said, man, we have a relationship. I said, I was on future educators talk every day. Mm-hmm. I say, so you got to bring that same energy and funk, because if you don't, no. So when you talk to him, when y'all have y'all interview, you let him know that Mr. Luther said if you don't bring that energy and bring that funk, he gonna have to see me, man. But yeah, man. Darnell, like I said, Coach Darnell at Twitter, and then Coach_DJ12 on Instagram.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on. Lots of great people coming on to this season of Education Thoughts with Damian Anderson. So make sure you tune in every Friday to who I am interviewing. So this has been another episode. I will see y'all on another episode to who I am interviewing. Take care. And remember to wash your hands. I will see y'all next time. Hello, everyone. It's Damian Anderson. If you have a question, concerns about my podcast, Education Thoughts with Damian Anderson, stories to share with me, feedback to make my podcast better, reactions to the things I talk about, jokes to tell, or someone you would like for me to interview, please send them in by direct messaging me directly on Instagram at @DamianAnderson or at EduThoughtsPod. You can email me at DamianAnderson2019@gmail.com or send in a voice message by going to anchor.fm/EduThoughtsPodcast and click on the message tab to where you can record your questions into me. Thanks.